Welcome to a new episode of Suddenly Jorge, and suddenly sitting beside me is one of the Latino community's most revered icons, Richard Anthony Cheech Marin, a native son to Los Angeles. Cheech Marin's legend as a Grammy-winning comedic artist, actor, author, musician, and activist spans several decades and generations. And today we are sitting in what can only build on his extraordinary legacy, the Cheech Marin Center for Chicano Art Culture and Industry. Sir, it is a real honor to be sitting next to you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for coming on a rainy Saturday afternoon.
Believe me, it was rainy the whole way.
We took 3 freeways to get here.
I
It was magic.
4, man, 5.
So let's start with the gushy stuff first,
Okay.
because I'm also a native Angelino. You're a native Angelino. Our birthdays are a week apart.
Really?
You're July 13th. I'm July 20th.
Oh, okay.
Right? And your nickname, Cheech, is from chicharrón, right?
Right.
I love a good chicharrón.
Me too.
So how do you like to eat yours?
Fresh off the pig, I guess, man. You know, I like the big ones. You have to go to a Mexican market to get those, and they don't come in a bag. They come in like pieces like this, and I like. They still got fat on them and everything. You know, I like those.
I like it with a little bit of lemon.
A little bit of lemon
And some hot sauce.
And that's good too.
And the crispy bits with a little bit of like carne on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom grew up on a ranch, and so they kill a pig whenever we go visit the family in Mexico.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So that's like so fresh off the pig.
Fresh
So we
off
have
the
that in
pig.
common too. Now, the point of this particular podcast series that we're working on is to spotlight the voices and narratives shaping the U.S. Latino experience in the country right now. And you represent such an important moment for the community's history. And hearing your comedy routines with Tommy Chong as Cheech and Chong was groundbreaking because we had never heard your voice before. That's very specific. And I don't want to say barrio voice, but it is that to a degree.
Yeah.
And so you made an entire people visible.
Yeah.
And we have not heard that voice since. And so what did it mean to you then, sir, being that groundbreaking individual? And what does Chicano mean to you now?
Wow. Then it was, we presented it as everyday life because that was our everyday life. And that mixture of Chicano lowrider and kind of hippie that Tommy presented those two together to the general public, but immediately recognizable. You know, that was the thing. You know, we were not menacing or threatening or any kind of thing like that. We were like lovable. You know, that was our secret weapon, and that's how we got in.
Do you have a sense that now you represent something specific for the community, though? Did that ever cross your mind?
Oh yeah, right away. Right away, everybody, all Chicanos related to it right away, and it didn't matter. You know, kind of. They weren't, maybe their parents were threatened by the thought of what they thought we were. But we were, I came from a very straight background. You know, my father was a policeman. I was a strict Catholic. I was an altar boy. I was in the choir. I got the religion award. I was on my way to the seminary before I discovered girls, and that was a quick detour. Wait a minute, there's no girls in this? I'm going to rethink this here.
That's the deal breaker.
Yeah, man. My clothes were already at the seminary. They were waiting for me. Between 8th grade and 9th grade, which is high school and junior high, that was when the discovery happened, you know, so it set me off in a new path. But I was real straight, kind of, you know, presenting that. But I knew all the dogma, you know. So.
And yet, despite the specificity of this characterization that you developed and continue to finesse and refine, you never made us a joke.
No.
That's the beauty of it. It never felt, yes, it is broad, but it never felt like you were ever once diminishing the community.
No, not at all.
You know, how did you manage that? Because anybody else would be a stereotype, but with you, it just felt like, that's my uncle. That's my brother.
Because I looked like their brother and their uncle, man, especially as I got older. Then I looked like the father and grandfather, you know. We happened upon a truism, you know, and a lot of comedians wait their whole career to find that one character that rings true and then use it because we worked every day. on our bits on our material every day. We walk along, and because we were broke when we got to LA, man, we were broke as glass, and our goal was we had to make $1.50 every day somehow. Get our hands on $1.50. With $1.50, we could make some kind of Chinese meal, beef and greens, and we had some rice. But that was the goal every day. And in the process of walking around the neighborhoods and trying to get a gig, we would pick up pop bottles and empty lots, but $1.50 every day.
And because of that $1.50, today you now have this extraordinary life. Yeah. And a legacy that now has an incredible dimension to it. I don't know when the collecting started, the art collecting, but somewhere along the path, you started amassing a collection. Yeah. And when did that start? I don't know if it's like eating a can of Pringles chips. Once you have one, you got to keep going. You can't stop at one. But is that what it was like?
It started much earlier than that. I had this group of cousins. There was 4 of us, and we were bright kids. And a Catholic educated, for us that was a liberal arts education with a corporal punishment combined, Catholic school, and we were bright kids. And the head cousin Louis, he was the brightest of all of us, and he got a scholarship to grade school, and every school he ever went to after that, college and high school, and he was a state scholar, and he had a thirst for knowledge, and he wanted us to learn new stuff. And so he gathered us all together and he says, okay, I'm going to assign you all topics and you learn all about those topics and then bring it back to the group and then we'll all be enhanced by that. And it was a tough, bright group. My other cousin Ray Jean, who was part of the group, he received the first doctorate in Chicano studies from Harvard. So he was one of the guys. Lolly was my other cousin was the only girl in the group, and she became a nun and very high up in her order. And Louis, who was this mad genius, writer, creator, funny, I got my sense of humor from him. And then me, and I was the youngest of the group, and I was just a little puppy dog. And so I got assigned art. That's how it's okay. And Cheech, you go learn about art. Well, how do you do that? I don't know. I go to the library. So I went to the library, and I would go there every Saturday and kind of take out some, I guess, art. I was maybe 9 years old at this time, about to turn 10 maybe, but 9. I remember I was 9. And I started looking at the books, just looking at them because I wasn't going to read all that. And the head librarian sees me come in a couple of times and take out these big ass books, and I'm this little kid. What are you doing? Well, I have to learn about art and blah, blah, blah. So she laughed and then thought about it for a little while. I says, well, we can help you with that. And so every Saturday I would come in and there would be a stack of books, art books. Okay, today I'm going to show you about Impressionism. And she would take and I would look through them, and that's how it started. And so he says, but you have to, and she instilled in me that to really appreciate that you have to go see them live in museums. Paintings are to be seen. And so that's what I did. I started collecting, and then the mania took over, which it usually does in these cases, and I started multiple paintings by multiple artists all the time. And the other big aspect of it was that I was traveling all the time. We coast to coast for years and years, and so I got to see Chicano outposts that other collectors, would-be collectors, never saw.
And now this collection has a home.
Yes.
But this quickly was heralded as being the premier space for Chicano art in the United States, even more so than the Smithsonian for its Latin American collection. But this home is here, and now you are having an amazing impact, not just in terms of the art community, but the community of Riverside as a whole, because you've added quite a bit of revenue because people are coming.
Yeah, and everybody kept telling me along the process, oh, you guys are going at warp speed here in museum. But it was 5 years from the time they made the offer to we finally opened. That's warp speed in museum talk, But when we did, and everybody kind of started knowing about it, and I kept, promoting it wherever I could. And one day we finally opened, and it's been a huge success ever since, because there was a thirst for it.
It's interesting because you represent counterculture. Yeah. You and have not been silenced, and here you have this extraordinary museum. Mm-hmm. How do you look at this era right now? Why is it important to have these narratives still loud and proud?
Well, because we can't be erased. They try. I mean, there's an effort to actually try to take certain pictures out of the Black Museum at the Smithsonian because we don't want to see that. It doesn't, but that's part of our history, you know. And so I look at this because Chicano art was founded as political art. It was the visual arm of the movimiento that was started for civil rights. It went along with the Black Civil Rights movement at the same time. And so we were in that conversation. So the art represented that, you know, the first part of the art. And then after that period passed, the artists kind of went back to their own artistic concerns, but they still wanted to describe their culture. You know, that was the big thing. They stayed with that, not necessarily in political terms or protest terms, but in personal terms, whether it was love, hate, men, women, whatever the situation was, they were, but from a Chicano point of view, a perspective, you know, so that stayed, you know, and I think they were kind of, the original artists were kind of tired of being perceived as just political art.
All right, we're going to do a little lightning round question.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to pick from the menu.
Okay.
You choose between the two, which you prefer, right?
Okay.
All right, comedy or drama?
Comedy. Comedy it warms the soul, you know. Drama's good. It gets all the awards, you know. Comedy movies never get an Academy Award for Best Picture. Very seldom. But comedy definitely.
All right, corn or flour tortillas?
Well, it depends on what you're eating. You know, I like them both. I used to help my grandmother make tortillas every day. She made them every day. And I would sit there next to her and kind of prepare the masa with her and watch her as she squeezed that little ball out of the top of her thing, twist it off and put the... but if you want taquitos, you know, you got to have corn tortillas, you know.
Thank you. Agua de tamarindo or horchata?
Horchata. I like horchata. People outside of the community don't know what that is, man. You know.
Oh, they know.
They know, but the rest of the community doesn't know, man. I like horchata.
Tequila or mezcal?
Right. I have a line of mezcal that we sell, the Tres Papalotes. You can get it wherever fine mezcals are served. I like tequila a lot, you know, so it's depends on what I'm eating or drinking at the time.
Tacos or enchiladas?
Tacos or enchiladas? I like enchiladas, you know. Yeah, I do. And it's just like that cheese in the center, in the middle. And my mother, bless her soul, that was one of the good things that she cooked. And there wasn't a lot of them.
Yeah, two more to go. Menudo or pozole?
Oh, menudo. But I like pozole, you know, because I make it all the time. And I taught my kids to make it. Everybody make it. But menudo is hard to make because my wife usually can't stand the smell while it's cooking, you know. So like I have to wait till she goes off someplace for a couple of days when I make menudo. But I love menudo, you know. That's why I knew Chong and I were a natural pair to go together, because he was the only person I've ever met in my life who could eat menudo for the first time as an adult and like it. Because Chinese eat everything too, man. You know?
Yeah, they don't waste. They don't waste anything.
Nada, man. Menudo. Oh yeah, it's nice and chewy. Yeah.
Which leads to the last choice on the menu: Cheech or Chong?
Oh, depends on what you're eating. I love us both, man. I really like it. Tommy is he's a Gemini, so he's a real dual personality, you know. So everybody thinks we're the best friends in the world. We're not. We're brothers. You know, sometimes you can love your brother, and sometimes you can just bug the shit out of you. You know, and that's our relationship. But we are with each other from thick and thin.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, in 1688, there was a Swiss medical student who actually broke down the word nostalgia, because it actually is based on two Greek words, nostos, which means homecoming, and algos, which means pain. And so I think it's an interesting way to look at a word like nostalgia as being about pain coming home.
Yeah.
But it's become something much more than that, and over the centuries, correct? And so when you walk into this museum, it does feel like coming home
Oh,
to
good.
a big degree. And so this is not a house of pain, even though the images can be very provocative.
Yeah.
It is also a house of hope. And so what do you feel now, Cheech, when you walk into this museum that bears your name? And what do you want visitors to feel when they step into this space?
You know, every time and this happens every time I've stepped into the museum, I can't wait to get in there and see, oh yeah, I forgot this was set up this way, and oh, I remember when I bought that piece, it's very nostalgic in that sense for me, you know. But I can't wait to get in the museum every time I come here. I want to kind of, my method is to try to come in when there's nobody there, so that I can run around the museum without taking 100 selfies, and look at the art in different contexts. I used to have this thing when we did the Chicano business tour, that I would, as soon as they got the whole show hung, and I gave full sway to the curators for whatever museum hang it. The only caveat I wanted was all the artists had to be hung together with their art. You know, there can't be one Almaro's over here and then another one, you know, because I wanted to see, because it's new to everybody, and I want to see, this is his work, and here's another artist, and this is their work. And there's unique art in this museum. There's a big lenticular pieces, you know, and which is an amazing thing. When you first walk into the museum, it's just this huge lenticular piece by the De La Torre brothers, and there was this one instance when we very first opened, and I saw this little girl. She must have been maybe 4 or 5, and she was in a little folkloric dress, and she was dancing with her holding on her skirt in front of the lenticular, and every time she moved, it was a different image, and then she moved back, and so she was dancing to the images that were changing, and the paint and the art, and it was like she almost went into the painting. You know, I could see her going down, she looking at, and wow, what a connection to art. I mean, that is what art is all about, to make you part of it. And I was just dumbfounded when, you know, I just watched her forever until she walked away.
Well, Soy de Texas, which is currently in exhibition until January, it's a beautiful exhibition, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations. We spoke to Rigo
Yeah.
Luna, and it is an extraordinary narrative.
Yeah, it's really, we've had terrific exhibitions up in the upper room, up in the second floor. I mean, really, really, really good. I defy any other museum to, you know, you put that on month after month. And I'm still buying pieces, you know, it's generally now I don't buy pieces for myself. I pay for them myself, but I buy them for the museum specifically. You know, there's a hole here, and there's a piece available. And I kind of give artists some hint. Hey, you know, we could use a piece about blah, 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 this. Oh. And they get the bright idea, and all of a sudden it's there, you know. So it's a nice cooperative between the artists and the museum.
Well, Rigo said every Chicano artist in the moment has a Cheech story. So obviously you've done it.
Oh, baby, it's amazing, you know, because the Cheech and Chong thing goes through generations, you know, and so the older your parents, the parents or grandparents have a different narrative than the young kids that only know me till I do the voices from The Lion King. You know, it was like, I remember this one, I was visiting my friend, and she had these twin girls, and they were like young, you know, and we were visiting them, we were sitting in the pool, and she's telling them, she's Chinese, and she's telling them that, you know, he's a very famous actor, and blah, blah, blah. And they go, yeah, great, you know, like, and so I said, well, you know, what movies he been in? And so I said, what do I say to these guys? I've been smoking. And no, I said, you ever seen The Lion King? Yeah. I said, well, I was in The Lion King. What are you? The hyenas, you know, we'll just eat what's ever lying around. and they both looked at me like Leonardo DiCaprio just landed, man. It was like, oh, the power of the voice. That was very cool. But it generations now, generations, and that is kind of the biggest thrill, you know. It's not it's really thrilling to be a flash in the pan for when you're flashing in the pan, but it's a real deep love when you are appreciated over generations. That's an amazing thing.
Well, sir, thank you for your art and what you continue to mean to so many Latinos around the world, and especially in this country, in this community. Then, now, and por vida. I appreciate you coming to sit suddenly next to me to have this conversation. And please, audience, you must come to the Cheech here in Riverside to partake in what is happening here. This is truly a remarkable space and installation of art. The Soy de Texas exhibition will be on display until the middle of January. Part of the Riverside Art Museum organization. And sir, thank you so much again for
My pleasure.
being here. It was a real pleasure to have this conversation to you on a rainy day.
Oh, wasn't it rainy?
We survived.
I've been on the freeway for a long time in the rain.
And audience, thanks for watching Suddenly Jorge. Subscribe to Diablos Media for this and other original content that'll ignite your mind and make you want to say, "Que Diablos!" Until next time. Hasta la próxima, mi gente.
Hasty Lombardo. ¿Quién diablos?
Oye, mi gente. The Cheech is home to the unparalleled Cheech Marin collection of Chicano art. It is a space for continued exhibition, scholarship, and dialogue of Chicano art's deep roots in the Chicano movement of the 1960s and 70s to its contemporary and evolving response to current social conditions and global artistic movements. Go to riversideartmuseum.org for tickets and exhibit information now.